Hello, students. This is Purushottam Vishwakarma, and I welcome you to the third part of the Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. Till now, we have studied how Morad and Aram were enjoying the ride of beautiful white horse. In this video, we'll continue the next story. So, without any delay, let's begin. Not until this morning, he said. The last time Aram asked him, "When did you steal the horse?" Aram asked Morad when he stole the horse. So he replied, giving him a question. He did not answer him. He replied in a question. Not until this morning, he said, "Are you telling the truth?" I said. So when he replied, "Not until this morning," he said, Aram asked him, was he telling him the truth? Of course not, he said. No, I'm not telling you the truth. He said, "But if we are found out, that is what you are to say. I'm not telling you the truth. But suppose we are found out, we are caught, you have to tell them whatever I have told you. You have to tell them that you don't know anything about the horse till this morning. I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning." So, what he suggested, that he doesn't want both of them to be liars. All Aram knew that they started riding that specific morning itself. All right, I said. Then Aram suggested, "Okay, no problem at all." He walked the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named Fedvezian. Maurad led the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard, to the pasture of a deserted grapeyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named Fatvezian, which belonged to a farmer named Fatvezian. There were some oats and dry alfalfa. There were some oats. In our language, oats are known as jai, and some dry alfalfa in the barn. Alfalfa, a kind of plant, dry alfalfa. We began walking home. So, leaving the horse there, we started towards our houses. It wasn't easy, he said. Morad said, "It wasn't easy to get the horse to behave so nicely. It was a very tough task to make the horse behaving such a way, so nicely. At first, it wanted to run wild, but as I have told you, I have a way with the horse. For the first time, it wanted to run wild. It behaved as if it was wild. But as I have told you, but as he had already told Aram, he had a way with the horse. Not only he had a way with the horse, he had a way with all other animals. I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do." He told he could make the horse do anything whatever he wanted. Horse understand me. That horses understood him. "How do you do it?" I said. Aram asked Morad how he did all those things. How was he able to tame a horse? What was the reply? "I have an understanding with the horse," he said. Then Morad said he had an understanding with the horse. "Yes, but what sort of an understanding?" I said. Then Aram once again asked him a question. What sort of understanding he had with the horse? "A simple and honest one," he said. "It's nothing. It's a simple and honest understanding." "Well," I said, "I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse." Then at the end of the conversation, Aram said he wished he knew how to reach that level of understanding a horse. You are still a small boy, he said. Then Morad said, you are still a small boy. When you get to be 13, you'll know how to do it. In starting, I have told you how old is Morad? 13 years old. That is why he said, when you'll get to 13 years, you'll be able to know it. How to do. I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. That day, after morning riding on a horse, Aram went to his house and ate a hearty breakfast. That afternoon, my uncle Khosrow came to our house. So, in the afternoon time, Uncle Khosrow, which we have discussed earlier, about whom we have discussed earlier, Uncle Khosrow came to his house. To whose house? Aram's house, for coffee and cigarettes. He sat in the parlor. Parlor, a special room for guests, sipping and smoking and remembering the old country. So he was sitting there, sipping the tea and smoking the cigar, remembering the old country, remembering his old days. Then another visitor arrived. Then there was another visitor. Who is the new visitor? John Byro, which we have already discussed. John Byro is a farmer, Assyrian farmer. A farmer named John Byro, an Assyrian who, out of loneliness, because he was all alone, had learned to speak Armenian. Although he was Assyrian, but he knew very well the Armenian language. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco. So Aram's mother brought that lonely visitor some coffee and tobacco. And he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked. Then he rolled a cigarette, made a cigarette with tobacco, and sipped and smoked. And then at last, sighing sadly at the end, when he was finished, sighing sadly, he said, my white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. Said his horse was missing. Since how many days? Since last month. His horse was stolen. I cannot understand it. And he was unable to understand where he missed his horse, who stole his horse. My uncle Khosrow became very irritated. As you remember, he has a habit of interrupting others in conversation. He is full of irritation. He gets irritated very easily. My uncle Khosrow became very irritated and shouted, it's no harm. Don't worry, it's of no harm. What is the loss of a horse? What are you talking? The loss of a horse is a loss? No, it's not a loss. Haven't we all lost the homeland? Don't you remember? We have lost our homeland. What is this crying over a horse? What is this? You are crying over a mere horse. Think about your homeland. Think about us. We have lost our homeland. Once we were very powerful, and now nothing. That may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say, John Byro said. That may be all right for you. John Byro said, that may be all right for you, a city dweller, a resident of city, to say. But what of my Surrey? What will you do about my Surrey? What is Surrey here? Surrey here is a horse driven cart. What is a Surrey without a horse? There is no use of a Surrey without a horse. Pay no attention to it, my Uncle Khosrow roared. Once again, Uncle Khosrow shouted, roared, pay no attention to it. I walked 10 miles to get here, John Byro said. Once again, John Byro said he had to walk 10 miles to get there, to get his house, Aram's house. You have legs, my Uncle Khosrow shouted. What's wrong with that? You have legs, my Uncle Khosrow shouted once again. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. Then the farmer said, because of walking 10 miles, my left leg pains me. Pay no attention to it, my Uncle Khosrow roared. Once again, Uncle Khosrow said, pay no attention to it. That horse cost me $60. At this point, John Byro said, the cost of horse was $60 for me. So, Uncle Khosrow once again shouted, I spit on money, my Uncle Khosrow said. I spit on money. Don't think about your money. He got up and stalked out of the house. So, after hearing all this, John Byro got up and stalked out, went out of the house, slamming the screen door, slamming the light door, the screen door that is usually used for keeping the insects away. My mother explained. My mother tried to explain him. He has a gentle heart, she said. It's simply that he is homesick and such a large man. My mother, Aram's mother, tried to soothe him by saying, Uncle Khusro has a gentle heart. It's simply that he is homesick and such a large man, with the powerful head. The farmer went away and I ran over to my cousin Morat's house. Then the farmer John Byro went away and I at once ran to my friend, my cousin Morat's house. He was sitting under a peach tree. I saw him sitting under a peach tree trying to repair the hot wing of a young robin, as you can see in the picture. He was trying to repair the wings of a young robin. Robin is a bird which could not fly because that robin bird got its wings hurt. He was talking to the bird. Unusually, he was talking to the bird. What is it? He said. The farmer John Byro, I said. After seeing me, he asked, what is it? Why are you here? The farmer John Byro. I tried to explain about the farmer John Byro. He visited our house. He wants his horse. Aram tried to explain him. John Byro visited Aram's house and he wanted his horse, which was stolen a month ago. You have had it a month. You are using it, you are riding the horse since last month. I want you to promise not to take it back until I learn to ride. And I have come here, he had come there to take a promise from Morad not to return the horse until he learned to ride. Then Morad said, it will take you a year to learn to ride. My cousin Morad said, it will take you a year or more, and I'm not going to keep the horse for a year. We could keep the horse a year, I said. Then Aram said, no problem at all. We could keep the horse for a year. My cousin Morad leaped to his feet. Hearing this, my cousin Morad leaped to his feet. What? He roared. What are you saying? Are you inviting a member of the Garglanian family to steal? Are you inviting a member? Are you thinking that a Gargalanian family member should steal, the horse must go back to its true owner. Now we must return the horse to its true owner. And who is the true owner? John Byro. Then Aram asked, when? In 6 months at the latest, he said. In 6 months at the latest. We'll keep the horse for 6 months. Then after we'll return it. He threw the bird into the air. And now he threw the bird into the air. The bird tried hard. At this time, the bird tried hard, almost fell twice, and it fell almost twice, 2 times, but at last flew away. It flew away. Robin flew away high and straight in the sky. Early every morning for 2 weeks, my cousin Morad and I took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyard where we were hiding it and rode it. Early every morning. Then, after, it was our usual routine to ride the horse early morning, every early morning, and it happened for 2 weeks when me and my cousin Morad were enjoying the horse from its hiding place. Where was the hiding place? Deserted vineyard. They were hiding the horse in the barn of the deserted vineyard. And every morning, the horse, when it was my turn to ride alone, if you have noticed, when for the first time Aram tried to ride the horse, he fell down. So it was usual routine for him. And every morning, the horse, when it was his turn to ride alone, leaped over grapevines and small trees and threw me and ran away. So it was usual routine of the horse and Aram. Nevertheless, I hoped in time to learn to ride the way my cousin Morad rode. But no problem. I was not worried at all. Aram hoped that with the passage of time he will be able to learn to ride the horse like his cousin Morad. One morning on the way to Fathwazian deserted vineyard, we ran into the farmer, John Byro, who was on his way to town. Usually, we were on our routine ride. One morning on the way to Fathwazian deserted vineyard, we ran into the farmer John Byro. So we had a confront. We confronted with the farmer John Byro. And remember, we were with the horse who was on his way to town. Who was going to the town? Who was going to the town? John Byro. And we were there with our horse, with that white horse. Let me do the talking, my cousin Morad said. Aram was afraid. Then at this point of time, Morad said, no problem. Let me do the talking. I'll talk to him. I have a way with farmers. And he said he had a way with farmers. He would be able to deal with John Byro. He will be able to convince John Byro. So that's all in this part. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and do remember to subscribe.